Good morning. Thank you, Noelle and Monty, for the invitation and for keeping Creative Mornings alive and making it all work. To start, I'd like to roll the clock all the way back to another era, to February of this year, and show you the 2-minute proposal I submitted to Creative Mornings. It began with an email in the fall of 2018. An email I wrote to the young director of the Senior Repertory Theater in Portsmouth, who had once said he wanted to create a place to support seniors, still taking risks, having laughs, as they live life to the fullest. That resonated with me. I liked that idea. For 35 years I had a career in the film and TV camera business in New York and Los Angeles. You've heard of behind the scenes? Well, I was behind the scenes. When I retired to New Hampshire, I realized I had always wanted to make a dramatic scripted film of my own, going all the way back to 4th grade when I ran the projector in elementary school. Yep, I was that kid. Well, the email led to a meeting which led to the formation of a new senior group. The 7 of us had never done anything like this before. We were taking risks, and boy did we have laughs. We extended our skill set with an outreach to PPM TV. We found a curio shop, a truck, a storage facility, and a cool blue T-bird. Each connection led to 2 or 3 more. It began with an email that led to a 30-minute film with 6 actors, a bunch of extras, 4 crew, and 5 locations, all for $0. Now we're working on our second short film. This presentation is about the spectrum of a project, of a community, of a career. The spectrum of technology that takes what was once out of reach and puts it in the hands of almost anyone who wants to capture the spectrum of light, to create an image, to create a movie. On Friday, March 13th, Noelle accepted my proposal for a September 11th presentation. Friday the 13th, September 11th. What could possibly go wrong? But let's forget about all that and talk about me. After running the projector in the 4th grade, I went right to college, where I found myself running an FM radio station. A classmate of mine used to tease me by saying, "Show more, Mo Shore," which I embraced and called my radio program the Show More, Mo Shore Show. While in college, I was influenced by the Canadian philosopher Marshall McLuhan. It was McLuhan who famously said, "The medium is the message." It's one of those philosophical truisms that can mean different things to different people. As a young guy in radio, I took it to mean that since FM radio was better quality than AM radio, then the message of FM was music. The message of AM was talk. The medium is the message. Later, I studied filmmaking with Ricky Leacock. Ricky was one of the pioneers of cinema verite, and he taught me that one small change in the technology can change what kind of shot can be made, and indeed the type of film that could be made as a result. This was a twist on the medium is the message. The tools used to create the medium can influence that message. An example was a film that Ricky made called Primary, about the Kennedy-Humphrey primary in Wisconsin back in 1960. The Museum of Modern Art said about the film Primary, "The tangible intimacy of cinema verite ushered in not only a new era of filmmaking, but notably a new era of American politics." If we fast forward to now, McLuhan's head would explode, describing the message of the media landscape today. The message is, anything goes. If the film Primary ushered in a new era of American politics in 1960, think about the influence of today's media on politics. As a matter of fact, don't think about it too much, because it's kind of depressing. Anyway, after film school, I made some short music films, became a film editor for public TV, and developed Laserdisc arcade games for Atari. We adapted the Clint Eastwood movie Firefox to a video game, and I got my first taste of Hollywood.
We want you to fly the greatest warplane ever built.
When the CEO of Atari went to Panavision, I went with him. Panavision in the 1980s was the world's leading motion picture camera and lens company. And for 25 years, I had the best job. Visiting film sets, talking with filmmakers about tools, and developing the next generation equipment. This is me with the first electronic cinema camera in 1990. Francis Ford Coppola tested the camera system for Dracula in 1991, but decided not to use it. This was actually good for a company like Panavision that had enormous resources invested in film technology. It took at least another 10 years for digital to truly compete technically with film, and another 10 years for it to become widely adopted. It was all part of the digital revolution that made cameras, as well as lenses, accessories, and editing equipment, smaller, lighter, higher performance, and less expensive. Not just for Hollywood professionals, but for everyone. So by 2016, for me, it was time to stop trying to manage the digital revolution and join it. I retired from the camera business and moved to New Hampshire. I wanted to do what I always wanted to do, make films of my own. I had some equipment, I had the desire, but there was a whole lot I didn't have. Next, I needed actors, and that's when I reached out and met members of the Senior Repertory Theater. The heartfelt message of today's presentation is sharing the joy I found in meeting this group of people who had never acted in a film but wanted to grow and learn. They all love the Seacoast and all it has to offer. Let's meet them.
I moved to the Seacoast in 2005. A friend described it as being on vacation year-round.
It was kind of like stepping back into the 1950s. I moved to Portsmouth, and, children were on the corner with balloons. And a parking ticket was $2. I kind of got excited when I turned on the radio and heard oldies. Until 8 years later, I was hearing the same songs.
We loved the beauty of it, and the people were always so friendly, and people will say that New Englanders are standoffish and that they're not friendly at all, and we found that to be just the opposite.
It was beautiful, and there was a lot to do, and it wasn't a big city, and I'd grown up in New York and Los Angeles and Boston, and this was the smallest place I'd ever lived in, and it was great.
The thing I love most about the Seacoast is A, the sea, but B, the opportunity for all the cultural and music and artistic and dramatic offerings that the region gives us.
There are a lot of performing arts places in this area on the Seacoast, and that's really what it was, senior moments that got my wife and me involved in doing sketches for senior citizens, at senior centers, and at assisted living facilities. And then from there, I served 6 years on the Repertory Theater Board and just love it.
And I loved the idea of local theater. The first thing I did when I decided to come here was they put me up, I think it's now the Portsmouth Inn, it was the Sice Inn at the time, and I came up for 4 days or something. And the first thing I did was volunteer at the Seacoast Rep.
And yeah, I'd been interested in doing theater, for a while. And so when the senior rep came about, I thought, well, here's another thing I can do that's fun. And, I've got more time and feel like this is something I've always wanted to do, and now I can do it.
Especially the Seacoast rep, because it's small and intimate, and it was a good way to start.
One thing I didn't have was a script. Aha! An adaptation. And why not adapt from the best?
Hey, look at this. Some sort of antique camera.
Oh my gosh! My dad used to have one like this years ago.
Whoa.
Hey, I have an idea.
Yeah?
Let's play fashion show. Get over there. Get over there.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Come on, you're the model. Let's go.
Pretty girl is like a melody.
We changed the characters, the setting, and even the ending, but the structure was borrowed from the brilliant Rod Serling. Another thing I didn't know how to do was direct actors. And I needed more crew. I couldn't handle 2 cameras, sound, and lighting all by myself. Again, I reached out to the community, to Portsmouth Public Media TV, and met Bill Humphreys and Chad Cordner.
The hardest part about acting is getting away from yourself, is not taking yourself seriously at all, and never be afraid of making a fool out of yourself. If you can get past that, then the rest of it is a piece of cake. Because the rest of it is just words. It's conversation. It's question and answer, question and answer, question and answer. So dialogue is really not a fence that you have to climb very far. It's very, very simple to get over dialogue and that sort of thing. You just listen to each other, have a conversation, and don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to make a fool out of yourself. Don't be afraid at all. Just have fun. That's the goal.
Talking to first-time actors and just explaining to just breathe and not focus that the camera's on you, and just to have fun, because that's really what it is. These small productions, that the joy that you see that out of the cast, crew, and even just a one dayer who just shows up for a couple hours to help out, you just see the smiles on their faces at the end of the day or during it. It gets chaotic, it gets confusing, but it's so entertaining to just be a part of the process. And I think the fun part is really what I try to explain to people, is just to have fun, because it could be your last day here, and if you're doing it making a film, I mean, what better way, right?
At the beginning of 2019, our group met about once a week and, for 5 months, wrote the script, found locations, rehearsed, and shot our movie. It was an exhilarating experience. Everyone took it seriously, and we had a lot of fun. We don't have time to see the whole film this morning, so I'm going to show a 90-second trailer. You can catch the 30-minute version on my website, Show More Video, or my YouTube page. a first-time effort, we think the result is pretty good. It's not an award winner, but as Arthur Ashe once said, success is a journey, not a destination. The doing is often more important than the outcome. Listen to what the group has to say about the experience. This stuff means more than anything to me.
I was really nervous at first. I mean, nervous isn't even the word. Intimidated, insecure, lacking confidence. I'd never done anything like that before. I was in 8th grade and I sang in front of 300 women for the Eastern Star, and I forgot the words. And I went back to the piano, asked the pianist to repeat the words to me, and I sang the whole song and went off stage and cried my heart out. So I had opportunities in high school to be, I remember being asked to be an Arsenic and Old Lace, and I just said no. I was so afraid to just be put in that situation again. So when the senior group started, it was all doing readings, so that made it easy. And then when your possibility came in front of me, I wasn't sure exactly, but I thought I was willing to try. And I think the thing that surprised me was that after avoiding a situation such as that for so many years, that I found that I was able to do it. I was able to learn and grow, to feel that I was taking on the character as we went on, and I felt more confidence that I was improving, and I was feeling proud of myself instead of being scared and intimidated. I also loved the creative process of doing it with a group, again, a small group, so I was able to contribute. It was totally creative. I just always had my mind thinking about it all the time, and it took over all the fear and insecurity.
I joined Senior Rep and the film group because it gave me a chance to become someone else, to leave myself behind and become a different character. What I learned instead was that you bring your story, you bring yourself to whatever story you tell. I also discovered that you can find your creative self at any age. It's never too late.
But also the group it's just been like a team sport where we've worked together and cooperated. That, I think, has been probably the best thing.
I had no idea how a film was made, so I loved coming in as a complete, newbie and learning something brand new. One day I felt very self-conscious when I was totally unprepared. But other than that, I was kind of proud of all of us of having the courage to fail in front of the camera.
It's just so much fun to be in this group and to, try out things, even holding the boom or whatever that is, and kind of walking around and just, learning new stuff is such a treat.
And then now when I watch movies and TV and things, I can see where I'm thinking, oh, I know how they did that, or how much time it must have taken to do this one little scene. And it's kind of fun to be able to say things like that, just to kind of scrutinize it and be a better critic of what the thing is doing.
Oh, I learned so much. I love it when I'm learning something new. And I loved the creativity that of the writing and of the little bits that people thought of as we went along and added in, and watching the camera crew and all the different things that they were adding to what we were doing, and then afterwards, seeing the way that Moe had put it all together, and the editing and the way it made it work, it was just a delight that first night to see it all together.
For me, as a stranger to New Hampshire, I was thrilled to be welcomed into the community, where I found a talented, enthusiastic group. We're doing community filmmaking, made possible by technology, but more importantly, by a spirit of let's do this. One reason I think it has worked is that everything is voluntary. People give their most valuable asset, their time. We started working on a new film this year, though, like everything, this new project has been halted by the pandemic. But I'll tell you, the bond formed within our group has helped keep me going during this time. And I'd like to take this opportunity to ask anyone interested in being a part of our brand of community filmmaking to reach out. We'd love to work with folks of any age and experience. If you've got a story, or you've always wanted to act or be part of a film crew, contact us. When things get back to normal, we'll start up again. Thanks again to Noel and Monty. This is Mo Shore for the Show More Mo Shore Show. Until next time.